Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, and we're here with the ultimate, oh yes, Violent J inside the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena. And I tell you, man, we got some stories. Yeah. We go way back, and I got a whole lot of questions. First one, how you feel, man? How you feel?
I'm feeling good, and I'm honored to be here. And I want to congratulate you on what a beautiful venue.
Man, we appreciate it. We've been working on this for a long time. They always say an overnight success is about 20 years.
It's a lot of nights.
Exactly. And that's what this has been. But I tell you, we definitely are grateful you're here with us. And just to be able to talk about the old times, what it was like back in the day for me, because I was so fascinated with the Insane Clown Posse, the Juggalos, and what you guys created. And I know WCW may have had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit. Talk to me about the creation and how did you guys come up with the idea of the little running, jumping man going across the TV screen? That right there was like the most innovative idea anyone could have ever thought of in a million years. That free advertisement.
Yeah, well, see, this was, we were training to be pro wrestlers before we even thought about being rappers. You know, that's what a lot of people
That was
don't
the first
know.
dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and we were messing around in the backyard, you know what I mean, doing all the backyard wrestling growing up, of course. But when we turned like 17, even though I was still trying to live my wrestling dream, you know, hip-hop started to really overtake a lot of those. I was in denial for a minute, you know what I mean? We still kept saying we're going to be wrestlers, but then I couldn't deny the passion for hip-hop, you know? So by the time I was 19, we put out our first record, and we still kept taking wrestling opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Joe working like indies and stuff like that in Detroit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A guy named Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe used to work for the Sheik in the 80s and 70s. He let me on a card once, you know what I mean? And then from there, I got more bookings. And so until our music started to make noise and fans started to know you could come see us wrestle and see us without the face paint, because back then it was all about hiding the face paint, not showing ourselves without face paint. Fans started showing up at our wrestling shows without the paint, you know? So we were like, all right, we're not going to wrestle no more, right? So then in 98, we get a call from WWE, and they want us to make the ring music for a team they got called the Oddities.
Right.
And we're like, man, do y'all know we wrestle? You know what I mean? And they're like, what do you mean? And we're like, we wrestle. We come from this world, you know? And so they flew us to the building, and we wrestled, who was it? Tom Pritchard.
Bruce Pritt. Oh yeah, Tom.
Dr. Tom. Yeah, Dr. Tom.
Yeah.
At the headquarters. You know
the
what I'm
PC.
saying?
Yeah.
And then we debuted at SummerSlam with the Oddities. You know what I mean? I remember we got there. We needed a place to paint up. Vince Russo was like, all right, he put us in the dressing room. The only other two people in there were Undertaker and Stone Cold. going over the match. and me and Shaggy are in the mirror painting up, looking at each other like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
What was the reaction of the guys backstage?
I mean, they debuted us at the Garden.
What about the guys? I mean, did the guys feel, did you feel any love?
I don't think we felt any love.
You know what? My thing is with wrestling and rapping, back then, it was almost like, and I say this because in WCW, rap was crap.
Oh, right, because of
those guys got
Kurt
no love.
Hennig
That's why, those
But it was
questions.
different in WCW.
But for you guys,
for us, yeah, it was different. But in WWE, we didn't really feel no love. Like they always get mad when I tell this story, but we went out there one time against the Headbangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mosh and Thrash.
Those guys still doing it too. Big ups.
Man, they beat the shit out of us. Come on, man. I've been around wrestling long enough to know, you know what I'm saying?
They laid it in a little bit.
It was still fright with it.
And then when they came back, they were like, how'd everything, they dipped in the dressing room, they're like, how'd everything go? We were like, awesome, man.
Well, at least they didn't put you in there with Farouk and Bradshaw.
Oh, my God. The thing is, too, I mean, it's true. In wrestling, especially with somebody coming from the outside, it's almost a test.
I know.
Now, you know that.
Yeah.
You know that, and I'm sure they gave you guys the riot act. And you right. You lucky it wasn't with Farouk and Brad. It's the Public Enemy guy.
We never would have made it to WCW.
Yeah, Public Enemy got it bad, man. So going back when y'all coming up in Detroit and you were a wrestling fan, I'm sure y'all go to the Joe Louis or something and see some of the matches. Who were your guys back in the day?
I mean, like everybody, you know, I'm 51. I grew up watching, you know, I remember the first time NWA came back to Detroit, Ric Flair versus Ronnie Garvin in a steel cage when Ronnie Garvin won the belt out of nowhere and shit. I was there, you know. First time I ever went to see wrestling, it was Hogan and the Junkyard Dog versus, it was Hogan and Andre versus John Studd, King Kong Bundy, and Bobby Heenan. You know, that was my first time I went to see wrestling. You know what I mean? Corporal Kirshner versus Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah.
You know, and man, I've just been a fan my entire life. Like, we stopped coming to watch the wrestling, though. We would hang out in the back and get autographs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Be like, we carry your bag, carry the bags, and talk to them. You know what I mean? We had everybody, you know what I mean? The only two that would pull their shit into the garage was Hogan and Andre.
Okay,
Everybody else would park, you know what I mean?
Unlike you, I was like a big, fan of rap. I wanted to be a rapper. I didn't want to be a wrestler, you know, coming from the hood. The last thing I thought, you know, was going to be my way out was being a professional wrestler. And I remember it was this club called the Rhinestone Wrangler.
Great name. What a great name.
And Willie D. Actually,
I was going to say, they used to...
Willie D, and he had a partner named Top Ski. And they used to actually perform there every weekend, man. They used to just be blowing it up. And I remember one time, me and my boys, they had a contest. We wanted to get in the contest. And we had put together this little rap and whatnot.
I don't know this story.
No, man. We get up on stage, man, and we figured all the words. I mean, it was our first time doing it and our last time doing it. And thank God for professional wrestling. Because rap just wasn't my thing, man. No, man, I'm serious. Now, with the rap thing, you got to have that vocabulary. You got to have a whole lot of knowledge as far as from a storytelling perspective. How did you figure that part out?
Well, you know, I mean, like, look at what we do in rap. We're basically wrestling characters, you know.
Yeah.
Working the gimmick.
I think it's a combination of both. You know what I'm saying? I think you know, Detroit has always been big with showmanship, you know. I mean, like, even Kiss ain't from Detroit, but Kiss is where they were first pretty much successful, you know.
Right.
Even
Detroit
Prince,
Bucks,
when he was wearing just a jacket with a thong on or whatever, Detroit was loving it, you know. Same thing with Alice Cooper, you know. Detroit has always been big on that type of showmanship, and even in the hip hop, you know. It was very showmanship style, and we naturally came up on wrestling. You know what I mean? We wanted to do something outrageous anyway. You know, so I think all of that has to do with how we came out like this.
Well, especially Detroit, like when y'all came up in the hip hop world. I mean, there were so many, you know, charismatic characters. You know, Esham the Unholy,
That's
even
right.
Kid Rock back then when he had the high top fade,
That's right.
doing stuff, and then all of D12, they all seemed to kind of work a gimmick.
And when Eminem came out, he was saying craziness.
Right.
Detroit was just known for that type of shock value or something.
Was that just embedded in the DNA? Like if you're going to a cipher at some signing and you're kicking a freestyle, was it like I'm gonna say some outlandish stuff?
No, because I don't know about in the DNA of going back into rock and all that, but when it comes to hip hop, what we do, a lot of people call horrorcore.
Right, which has roots here to Houston too.
Started here in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
Ghetto
You know what I'm
Boys.
saying? Ghetto Boys. I'm talking about the first incarnation of the Ghetto
The
Boys.
original,
There was
yeah.
a guy named Prince Johnny C, and he wrote a song called Assassins, all right, on that first album. And that, as far as I know, as far as I can trace back, that was the first time I heard any song in hip-hop where they're not talking about something real, where they're talking about fantasy, you know, a horror, to you know, something like that, like the way a heavy metal album does or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was the first time I heard horror in hip hop done seriously, you know what I mean? And as far as I know, that's the beginning of what we call the wicked shit, what's been known horrorcore, whatever you call it, you know, as far as I know. And what sucks is, I think he passed away, but what sucks is Prince Johnny C never embraced it. Like, we tried to have him at the gathering.
Word.
As like a guest, like, man, you what you started
You're the Godfather.
has led like a tree. It was like a seed. Look at all that's grown off of it. You know what I mean? In these groups, and he was always like, man, you know, I never wanted to write that song. You know what I mean? And I just felt that's unfortunate because I feel like we owe him everything if you want to trace it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And the Ghetto Boys kept that up.
They kept
that was
doing it,
that was a big part of what
because that was like the
them.
most successful song on that first record.
Yeah.
So when it came time to do the second record, you know, they just did a lot more of that, you know, and that's when I was hearing it now, you know.
So did you have like the Ghetto Boys LPs back in the day, and like you would just run them ragged?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man! I was bumping all of that, man. Like, you know, yeah, man, making tapes, sending them to my brother. My brother was in the Desert Storm and all that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, man, and like you said, listening to Esham and all that. I loved being scared like that. I wanted to scare people like that. You know what I mean? I wanted shock value. You know, you look at a record store, right? It's a lot like an old Blockbusters. You can go in there, you can get like a romance record, you know, something slow, romantic, you know, some Luther Vandross or something. You know, you want something fast, you can get some punk rock, some heavy metal, you know what I'm saying, some excitement, you know what I mean, like a you know, kung fu movie or something. Or if you want something scary, you got that too. You got What We Do, you got the, you know, there's not a lot of them, but there's like Marilyn Manson, there's, you know, but also we do comedy shit, but there is a small genre, but why not? You know, music is entertainment just like anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys definitely created your own style, you know, pretty much figured out your own niche and created that following. That right there, the gathering, I got a chance to be a part of that. And it was definitely something that I had never seen to this day in my life, anything like that. Seriously, seriously, it was a blast, man. It was dope. I remember it vividly, you know, working with Tracy Smothers. I was so like on pins and needles, man, because I was like, you know, I don't see too many brothers out here, you know. I mean, so what the hell's going on? You know, me and Brad, we always talk about how white folks, you know, hope and black people wish, you know what I mean? You know?
And you were wishing you'd be all right.
I was wishing I was going to be all right. You know, I'm serious. No, because I was like, man, you know, I need to feel the water a little bit. I need to test the water a little bit. Because, you know, I'd heard all the stories, you know, about, you know, going, you know, into the ring, you know, if you ain't good, something might happen, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't want no parts of that. So I say, let me test the water a little bit. And Tone Loc was out there. So I say, I'm going to just walk right in the middle of everybody and see what happened. And Tone Loc was doing his thing. So I walked right in the middle of everybody. And everybody looked at me and go, oh, it's Booker T. So I'm good. I'm good. You know, so I remember me and Tracy, man, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, man. We working, man. It was an awesome experience, man. It was an awesome, dope experience. And I remember you treated me real good too, man. I remember.
Yeah, I, you know, over the years we've had some incredible stuff there. Happens late at night. It never really seems to make it like whatever happens there never really seems to make it outside of the Juggalo world, sort of.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But we've seen some incredible things, you know, and had some incredible moments in wrestling, like really cool stuff, you know what I'm saying?
How'd you come up with that idea?
What idea?
The gathering.
Oh, shit. We had, when we first came out, we were like, we gave this, there was some sort of phone number with like a special message, and it said a certain date. But this was set for like 7 years in the future or something like that, you know what I mean? But we gave this date in question marks. What's going to happen on this date, you know what I'm saying? So as the years went by and we got more and more popular, people were like, what's going to happen? You know? So we were like, oh, what should we do, you know? And we came up with like a special 2-day concert, you know, at a convention center, because we figured people were coming from everywhere. Now people are going to come from out of town and everything. So we had the first one outside of Detroit at this big convention center. We had wrestling there, you know. We had just gotten out of WCW at that point, you know. It was like 2001 or 2. But boom, yeah, man, we put the first one on. Then the first 3 were indoors at convention centers.
Okay.
But then like some kind of riot thing happened at the third one, so we moved it to a campground, and that's really when we found our niche.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where I was at.
The freedom and the way to be ourselves without the security guards and put that weed on or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we really found our where we belong when we went outdoors, and we've been that way ever since. You know what I mean?
The gathering, from what Booker was telling me, stories I've heard over the years, though, I think on the outside you might think one thing, but then like when you hear people, like I've heard Steve-O talk about the gathering, Booker's talked about the gathering, and the love that's there. Yeah. I mean, the fans, they chant family at the people, right? I mean, they chant at the people they respect and that they love, and if you show them love, it's like you're one of us, right?
Oh, 100%, but 100,000%. That's what I think most people are shocked about when they go to the gathering, is they think if they're not one of them, they're going to receive some kind of harsh treatment or something. But it's the opposite. Everybody wants to welcome you. Everybody, if they even feel like you're uncomfortable, everybody's offering you everything from a cheeseburger to whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just saying, trying to welcome you and give you a good time. And there's never no violence. You could have 10,000 people. So many of them inebriated over a 4-day week. No fights, no violence, nothing. It's not that kind of crowd. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some pretty stale shit happen over the years, that I regret. Like one time, Ultimo Dragon came out. He's got the nice gear on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was so honored to have him there. You know what I mean? He gets in the ring, does his thing, goes up to the second rope and raises his arms, and somebody just throws a big gulp, just a super big gulp of Coke. It just smashes against his mask, and I was like, no! I was so mad, And we were talking about that on the way here, Juggalos finally stopped doing that because they realized wrestlers are coming out, putting on 30-second matches and getting the fuck out of there. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want anything to happen.
So finally they start, Juggalos on their own start chanting, don't throw shit. When somebody would, they would get on them. You know what I'm saying? But that once the ring ain't soaked and shit laying everywhere and the rope soaked, matches start getting better. You know what I mean? So
people felt comfortable out there and work.
Yeah, well, shit, I feel much better now because I didn't get none of that, man. Tracy, we worked for at least a good 10, 12 minutes. No, what was so impressive for me was everybody on the property was painted up.
Yeah.
Everybody, man. How did that really make you feel as far as how you really created something? No, I mean, because you got to give yourself a pat on the back when it comes to that right there.
It's hard to, though,
I know it is. But a lot of people that didn't have somebody to look up to, something to look towards, something to want to be a part of. They found that within you.
Yeah, but music's always been a supernatural thing to me.
Sure.
Okay, music's always been unexplainable. If scientists could figure out what it is that makes a song so dope, they'd create the ultimate song that would sell 50 billion copies and sell it around the world. But everybody's different. It's like love. If scientists could figure out how to make love sell, like fall back in love with your wife or whatever, you know what I mean? That shit would be in bottles, Music and love, those things are like supernatural elements, I believe, God left in this world, you know what I'm saying? And they have different ways. Music can inspire people to change their life and come back and fight back from something, you know what I mean? Music's like therapy for people. It helps them blow steam. It helps them, you know what I'm saying? Music helps relationships when they both share a love for kinds of music and shit, you know what I mean? Music is crazy. And the gathering happened. It was never, the Juggalos and all that culture and all you talking, like that was never in our blueprints. You know what I'm saying? We were just like, let's do the wicked shit. We never planned that would happen. We never named anybody Juggalos. That all happened organically.
Yeah.
If it's anything, it's an enormous, huge fucking blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
A massive blessing, because we never were like, let's have it like this. At 33 years into our career, let's be living like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all this is like the 30th one you're coming up on, right?
Yeah, 25th next year.
25th, okay.
But like we never planned to be sitting like this. You know what I'm saying? Like we are now. You know, we're so grateful.
No,
we're so
you can't plan.
grateful.
You can't plan for that. No, you can't plan for that. I get it. I always say all the time. You know, people ask me, "Do you get tired of signing autographs?" I say, "Man, when they stop asking for the
that's
the
when you need to
signature,
work.
that's when I got a problem." I need to talk to my financial advisor, make sure we ready to cash out. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, seriously, you done a hell of a job, and you created something that has been awesome for so many people.
Yeah, man.
At the gathering, you've had the guys, like Book and everybody come out. Who else, would we be surprised? Because you said sometimes it doesn't leave the Juggalo world.
Yeah.
Like, who are some of the big names?
Piper wrestled his last match at the gathering.
Wow, his last one ever. Wow.
Yeah.
Piper, who'd he work? Do you remember?
It was Piper and Orndorff versus Terry Funk and Mick Foley.
Wow.
Yeah. And Mick Foley didn't want to wrestle, but Piper talked him into it. You know what I mean? So Mick Foley ended up coming off the commentary. Listen, we had a show called Legends and Icons, right? There's this funny dude on YouTube. He just recently reviewed it, you know what I mean? And, man, the thing is, I don't know of a bigger Legends show, and I'm a huge fan, right? And I'm talking about around the world, Mexico, Japan. I don't know of a bigger Legends show where more legends wrestled. Okay, I know conventions can be massive.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that actually competed. I mean, literally, the only singles match on that show was the opening match, and it was because it was Tito Santana versus Greg Valentine in a cage, and we wanted the cage already set up so we could tear it down.
Right.
Everything else in there was we had an 8-man Royal Rumble thing. We had a 6-man tag. We had Rock and Roll versus Midnights. We had, it was every match had multiple competitors because we had to use everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody came back, man.
Rock and Roll versus Midnight.
Yeah,
Hey, man. What year was this? What year was this?
This wasn't just recently. This was maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But man, we had Austin. We had everybody. Like, if you look at it, that's what I'm saying. I wish somebody would say, no, there was a bigger legend show that happened, such and such and such, where all these guys wrestled. I'd be like, okay, I'm done bragging. But until I hear about one.
Right.
Because we had so many motherfucking legends. We didn't know what to do with them all, man.
That's crazy. But that also shows
We had the Outsiders, Harlan Nash and what's his name? Six-Pac.
Six-Pac, X-Pac.
Taking off against Road Dogg, Jesse James, and Billy Gunn, and who the fuck else?
Yeah.
It was dope though. We were doing dope stuff. You know.
Who was booking though? Were you booking these matches?
Yeah,
Were you like the
yeah.
creative genius and be like, look, this is like
but a lot of
fantasy
times
booking.
I wouldn't even be able to be there. You know what I'm saying? We had
man.
other things going on, meet and greets and things we were doing, shows we were doing across the park or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know we filmed Legends and Icons, and it's like it rivals Heroes of Wrestling. You know what that is?
Yeah, for sure, man.
And like the way it was just like these matches are awful. But I tried to tell the dude reviewing it, and I said, man, if this was in Japan, they would have loved it because people just want to see him come down the aisle one more time. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about that walk.
It's not about Greg Valentine and Tito Santana putting on a 5-star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about just getting in there and doing it and letting us look at you again.
Seeing them.
Yeah, man.
Seeing them just that one time, walk down
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
I always said, here, getting in this arena one time, I say, man, if I could just get Steamboat and Flair just in the arena just to lock up, just so we can get that photo to sell it.
That's right.
We can make a whole lot of money, man. Juggalo wrestling, man. I guess that's something you've been really, really passionate about, right?
Yeah, man. I've been doing it. We've been doing it probably about 25 years now. You know, also been doing some stuff with Billy Corgan's NWA.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some stuff with GCW. Man. But but JCW, that's our thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talk to me about it, man, because this wrestling thing it ain't easy. To have lasted 25 years,
right?
You got to be doing something right. What's been your secret to success?
Well, for a while there, we stopped running though. I went through a life change, and I actually stopped watching wrestling for the first time since my childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like about 4 or 5 years, I stopped paying attention, you know? So crazy. When I watch WrestleMania and not know what's going on and shit, because I had always watched, you know? But, yeah, I stopped. So the only time we'd run in with JCW were at our actual, like, gatherings or like, at our Halloween show where we always have it, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like to a bare minimal, and I was kind of letting somebody else run it, you know what I mean? But once my life started settling back down again, you know, I started checking out. Then when Billy Corgan started the NWA, I was watching that. I liked how they were doing the old format or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, old
so I was
school.
checking
Studio
that out,
style
you know?
wrestling.
Yeah.
And then Vampiro ended up going over there.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, man, ask him, let me come in there, you know what I mean?
Word.
Because they already had a clown tag team over there, you know, the Brothers of Fun Structure. I was like, let me manage them, you know? So I ended up doing that for a while with them, you know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, JCW is like now my love is getting revved back up, you know. So we just filmed the 2 shows we just did, and we're gonna come up with a TV show. You know what I mean? We got at Juggalo Championship Wrestling. That's where you could check out our Instagram.
You probably might feel like, you know, you guys came out a little bit before y'all time. Y'all would be perfect, I think, coming out right now with the way wrestling is now.
Yeah.
As far as the way it's so fast, as far as the fans are so off into everything that's popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you guys definitely, I think, I think y'all would have fit into this era a whole lot more than. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Brett?
yeah, for sure. Well, I think, you know, Insane Clown Posse, especially like coming up in the internet age, like where
Exactly
people could,
my point. Yeah, man.
Because I remember, like, this is actually one of my most vivid memories as a young kid. Like, my sister's boyfriend, he was like, hey, have you ever heard of Insane Clown Posse? This must have been 2003 or something, right? And I'm like, no, who are they? He goes, they're rappers and wrestlers. I'm like, wait, what? Because this is my, hip hop and wrestling. Those are my 2 favorite things in the world. I'm like, somebody did them both, and then he had Amazing Jekyll Brothers and Great Malenko. That he was like, hey, look, let me play them for you, you know. And I remember, and I even as a kid, and I was young, man, but I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got, oh man, they're working a gimmick. You know, they're working, a not a character, but like trying to, like you said, doing the wicked, doing the horrorcore.
Yeah, we're being a character.
You're being the character,
Yeah,
like
it is
you
a
said.
gimmick, you know
Yeah,
what
and
I'm
work,
saying?
That crossover just make you want to look at it. I got to check this out.
Oh yeah, I had to check it out, man. And then
and
then it was like anything ICP did, it was like, hey man, they're down with wrestling, right? So I'm down with them. And I think that the wrestling community, I don't know if you felt it, and I hope that you have. Like we all embrace. Kevin and I was working the camera. We were talking about ICP before you got here because y'all have always given love to, like you said, the legends, getting Booker at the gathering, and the wrestling people, man, they love love y'all.
Things are different now.
Yeah,
we don't call ourselves the most hated band in the world no more.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
y'all get love now.
Yeah, no doubt. Things
Yeah.
are way different now. I got no complaints now.
But I think if the internet was there, y'all would have felt that love earlier.
Yeah,
I really
maybe.
do.
You know, I know a lot of our old humor hasn't aged well, you know what I'm saying? And it's a different time and all that, like when we do the commentary on the old stuff, you know. But you know what, man? You just keep moving forward and doing your thing, you know. But, thinking about back then, we didn't really have fun in our wrestling career until we got to WCW.
So how did y'all get there? How did y'all go from WWF to WCW?
Okay, we were in WWE, and we kept at the time. We kept telling Vince Russo, look, we're afraid everybody's gonna think we're just wrestlers, like we don't actually have music in. Because they were just paying us a little bit of money, but we were missing a concert every Monday to go do Raw. You know, they would do it and then film one. So we do Monday and Tuesday every other week, and we'd have to miss the shows, you know. So we were like, look, after a couple months, we were like, we ain't really doing this for the money, you know. The exposure is great, but most people are thinking we're just a wrestling tag team. Can you run this commercial on Raw where it's like Insane Clown Posse available at all Tower Records or whatever it was, you know? And so Vince Russo's like, I got you. I asked him. They said, okay. So week after week after week, he kept saying they were going to air the commercial, you know, saying that they never did, you know? So we went to somewhere and the night before, I remember I got a Stone Cold Stunner, and I thought that was awesome. You know what I'm saying?
As you should.
You know what I'm saying? And the next night, it was the filming, and they had Luna beating us up, you know? And so we called our manager at the time, Alex, and we were like, yo, did they air the commercial last night? He was like, they didn't. And that was like the last thing, you know?
Wow.
So even though we were painted up, and I know this is the biggest wrong thing to do in wrestling, we were painted up. They already gave us what we were doing that night. We dipped out the door, man.
Hey, man, nah.
We dipped out the door and left.
I got a rule. You know, when you're 99%, you might keep your mouth shut. But when you're 100%, you're going to speak up 100% of the time. And you might just walk out.
Yeah.
You know, that's just part of it. No, I get
just
it.
like, man, in the air, he told us last night it'd be, you know. And the thing is, when we were at WCW, because we just called WCW there, like, come on, you know what I mean?
So y'all just picked up the phone and were like,
And
hey, Bischoff.
we ended up being there when Vince Russo came over there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Now, he could have fired anybody. I was explaining this to my girlfriend the other night
Yeah.
because she used to work for him. He could have fired anybody when he came over. And I think he left us on the roster because he knew we had a right to walk out at that point.
Yeah,
right.
right.
You know, he knew we weren't hoeing him like it might have seemed like.
I mean, he walked out too. Remember, he
You're
walked
right,
out.
you're right,
you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's
So
true.
maybe
About
he was
that,
like,
too.
well, maybe he was these guys. Right? Yeah.
So it was different when you went to WCW.
Oh my God, we had mad fun. I remember the first thing that happened is Raven. They didn't know what to do with us the first time we got there, so we had like a little Winnebago thing outside for us, right? So we're sitting. They're just like sit in here. So we're sitting in there, and we're thinking, why can't we just sit in there with everybody else? You know what I'm saying? But I remember Raven came in and he was like, "Hey man, listen, stick with me. Don't. I mean, they want to do something with us in Vamp, but just follow my lead, you know." And we're like, cool, because we had met him before in ECW.
Word.
He walked out. Then about 5 minutes later, Vamp came in and said the exact same thing. But the more we hung out with him, you know, we really got along with Vamp. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'm
my
friends
God.
with both to this day, but us and
boys.
Vamp became super cool. You know,
Yeah.
we started having so much fun together in WCW, like him fucking with us backstage and like doing shit. Like one time, they used to have that booth back there where they would do interviews in. Me and Gene would be in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And there would be a red light on if
Yeah.
somebody was cutting a promo. And you'd have to wait outside, you know. Well, they told us to go to the booth to cut some promos. So me and Joey and Vamp are standing there, red lights on, you know, we're being quiet. And all of a sudden, Vamp bangs on the door, and him and Joey run off. And the door opens up, and it's just me, right? And the door opens up, and it's Chris Benoit is sticking his face out, and his veins all in his neck, and he's like, "What the fuck's your problem, clown?" And he's like, "Don't you see that fucking light?" And I couldn't do nothing but fucking stooge Vamp out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Vamp, I just had to start telling on my friends. I didn't know what else to do. I would never bang on the fucking door like that, like an idiot.
So you felt like the locker room, like kind of, because Bookie.
No, it was a good time in the locker room back then. I mean, I don't think it was a lot of hazing or anything like that, especially with guys like, you know, these guys coming in. I think we wanted to take care of those guys because y'all brought a lot to the show. I really think so. I mean, I don't think y'all was you know, like the guys that we were gonna toss your stuff out out of the locker room or anything like that. You definitely was, you know, welcome to hang out with us just because we thought you guys were cool.
Yeah, but it was mad cool.
I really thought it was, like I say, I thought it was so dope. You know, when I would be sitting at home watching the show and I would see that damn thing, and I'm like, what is that? You know what I mean? It was almost like, what is that? I got to figure out what that is. You know, and then once I finally realized, you know, it was you guys, and I just thought, that is so creative. That is, I mean, that free advertisement I always talk about with my students here. I say, I'll give you, you know, 5 minutes in the ring. I say, you can't buy that TV time. I say, that you ain't got that kind of money in your pocket. So I was like, man, that's such a genius idea, man. So whoever came up with it, man, big props, man.
Yeah,
big
man,
props.
that's Shaggy drew that out, man, you know. But I wanted to ask you something.
What's that?
You know how, I think it's so cool how today, wrestling from back then is so revered all over YouTube, like how they review it all, show it all, you know, everything. And there's certain events I saw that I don't hear about, you know. Do you remember a sort of scuffle? Is something happening between Goldberg and Evan Courageous in WCW?
No, I don't.
Man, we were sitting there before the arena. Before the arena opened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Guys were in the ring working out. Goldberg was standing right out there, not on this side of the guardrail. Evan Courageous was on the other side. Goldberg has some sweats on. He's got his hands on his, you know how you men grab your balls. You know what I mean? Goldberg's sitting like that. Evan Courageous walks up like, hey, man, smacked him on the shoulder and went to give him a dap. So Goldberg politely, you know, this is like pulls his hand, balls, and goes to give him a dap. And Evan Courageous is like, I'm straight or whatever. He said, you know, out of nowhere, Goldberg snatched him in a fucking chokeslam and lifted him over the fucking guardrail thing and threw him on the mat, you know. And Evan Courageous hit the mat and rolled off and got up and ran, you know. And like about a half hour later, came and sat by us. His face was all red, you know. And he was like, "Did you see what just happened to me?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I saw that,
You just found out who was the top guy. That's what that was. I mean, that's exactly what that. And Evan Courageous, where is he at now?
And then he said, "Man, if I sue him, will you testify?" Me and Joey started laughing. We were like, fuck no. He drag us to the court.
Oh, my God, man.
But WCW must have been not only like, because you said everyone was cool, they were letting you go out there and work. I mean, I know y'all had
you know, we met like Rey Mysterio. We were working Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. You know, these guys were great to us, man. They were fucking helping, you know. It was just great, man. I mean, like, everybody was super, you know, like, if there was any kind of, like, who are these guys or whatever, you know, they don't belong here. Like you said, I feel like that was the attitude, like, in WWE or something.
Sure.
It didn't feel like that at WCW, you know what I mean? Everybody was more, like, for real with it. The only thing, when I first walked in the very first dressing room, you know what I mean? Disco Inferno, like literally I walk in the very first dressing room, Disco Inferno, something's flying at me, right? And I catch it, it's a thing of baby oil, you know what I'm saying? And he's got no shirt on, he's like, "We get my back, bro." You know what I'm saying? He's got all these like, look like, you know, steroid bumps and shit on his back. And I'm all like,
it's like in the movie The Wrestler, right? Yeah. That's what you see in the movie The Wrestler.
And I'm like, and I actually start doing it. I'm like, wait a minute, man.
I got you, bro.
I got you, bro.
I started doing it. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, man. You're all right, bro. You're all right.
What do you remember about first meeting BT over here? Book.
Just coolness. You know what I'm saying? Seeing them in the hallways, introducing ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Coolness.
It was always love, man. It was always love. Like I say, when you guys came in, unlike in WWF, WWE, when I came in to WWE, I got that same welcome. You know what I mean? It was like everybody was kind of standoffish. I had to kind of like, you know, work my way through the channels. I had to feel the lay of the land. You know, it wasn't like we was friends or I was in friendly territory. So I felt that. But when in WCW, from the beginning, it felt like it was home. It felt like it was a place that I should have been.
But he was a top guy. Like walking next to him in the hallway was like walking next to Luger or Nash or somebody. You know, it was intimidation.
You know, I wore a suit all the time. I wore a suit. I always made sure I looked good. You know what I'm saying? that was the thing. I tried to make sure I looked like I was office. You know what I mean? But now, I remember when you guys came through, man. Like I say, it was nothing but it was a good time in wrestling. It was like I really feel like that time in wrestling was probably the best time that anybody ever gonna see as far as this business go. What do you think about the lay of the land now as far as the wrestling business goes?
Okay, well, first off, I think it's good that there's so many fucking places wrestlers can go.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's great how well indies are doing.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Indies doing great.
You know what I mean? Because I remember indies, you had to damn near to make any noise, you know what I mean? And nowadays you got indies that are actually doing well, like you know,
like reality wrestling.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like this is awesome, you know, to see. You know, another thing I like, of course, is that WWE and it's got competition and legit competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a rival, even, you know, somebody that could even beat it. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's
you
exciting.
You run faster.
That's right. And there's no just number. If you look at AEW and WWE, there's no just immediate number two. There's like several options. You know what I'm saying?
Here we are.
Yeah, reality wrestling.
You know what I'm saying?
TNA.
There's several options, you know, and so that's cool, you know. And another thing I like about the current state is I like how a lot of these guys, these older guys, they're like these Jake the Snakes and even Taker, right? They're going on the road and they're going into sometimes bars, sometimes comedy clubs, and they're just telling stories.
Yeah.
And they're getting money.
Yeah.
Getting paid, man.
Yeah.
And they get to, if they want to keep going on the road, like if that's just in their blood, you know, and their kids are grown and they miss the road, they can go do that. And basically all they got to do is sit up on a stage and tell fucking funny stories about their life that they've accumulated throughout life and actually get money doing that, you know, and do a meet and greet or whatever. I think that's cool because I don't remember no shit like that when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. I say the business has definitely put us in a place where now, you know, when it's all over with, you know what I mean? I go to do conventions and whatnot. I go, wow, man, it's amazing that so many people still love me. It's just like I did the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago and, you know, walked out the curtain and I'm like, man, you know, the people still love me. And the thing is, I know they don't expect for me to win the Rumble or anything like that. They just want to see me.
Well, just like he was saying a minute ago, they just wanted you to see the walk.
Exactly my point.
They wanted to hear the music, see the walk, let you do this for a minute.
Play the old hits. Play the hits one more time.
And they also, I think, as a fan, that when somebody comes out like that, they also want to see all these new guys give you the homage.
Yeah.
They want to see them bumping for you and shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy. I'm in the Rumble. I'm getting ready to do the spinneroonie. I dropped down to do the spinneroonie. I didn't see it until after, of course. But Sheamus is in the corner right here, and he's got his hand over his face, and he's laughing like so hard.
Like he's
got like a little kid getting ready to see the spinneroonie live
in front of him.
That's awesome.
Who are some of the guys, though, you like watching? Like, who are you a fan of? You say you're a fan of wrestling. Who today do you kind of go, oh, man, that dude's dope?
Man, shit. You know, I like Kevin Owens. I like I'm a fan. You know, listen. Talking about the Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Logan, man.
Okay, look. Them two dudes got the shine. Okay? I mean, they were YouTube stars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they took YouTube stardom to the max. Right? So then I believe they challenged another YouTube star or something, or somebody comes up with the idea to a boxing match. So they discover they like boxing. They like getting physical, right? Suddenly, dude's competing with Conor McGregor, right?
Floyd Mayweather.
Right?
Floyd,
and the other guy is doing moves in WWE that nobody's doing. Like, he's actually trying. He's not just in there.
Logan's dope.
I tell my guys, you don't actually have to know how to do this. You just have to act like you know how to do it very well. And he does that very well.
But his athleticism is crazy.
His athleticism is crazy. And I'm blown away by both of them, man.
Yeah.
For real. Like I really am.
You can't hate on it.
No,
you can't hate on it. Because people want to.
From the boxing perspective, it's done something so unique for the boxing world because now those really, really good boxers see they don't need those promoters to actually go out there and make that real money.
Right.
You know, they can actually go out there and do it. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
They've definitely created, and like you say, from a wrestling perspective, I've never seen anybody come into the wrestling world that have picked it up so fast to where they can go and do a main event on a pay-per-view, a premium live event. And
he worked for the world title.
It really is crazy.
He really is that
like, man, them guys just got to shine. Like when they set their minds to something, like you know, seeing how good Logan Paul is, right, in the ring, and then seeing how good Jake Paul is fighting Nate Diaz. You know, and beating him, even though it wasn't MMA. You know,
sure,
it's just like, man, they got it, man.
Oh, the sky's the limit for those guys.
I mean, just to me, like, you know, and maybe this is a question for you because, like, people on Logan, right? Because Logan had something happen on YouTube, whatever, back in the day. People wanted to hate on him. You know, always negative comments. When he came into WWE, people throwing negativity on him online. He turned them around, though. You know, now they're showing him love. They're showing him respect. And he's getting mad love now. Do you feel like the WWE crowd is now coming back around to ICP? Because I know y'all did something with WWE. You're on a podcast with Corey Graves.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're showing you love now.
Well, you know, I think anytime anything's possible now that Vince is gone. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I always felt like, I mean, I don't know. I always felt like Vince was like, fuck those guys forever because we walked out. You know what I mean? But now that he's gone, who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, I I just want to know if they came to town doing a show. Could I show up with my kids and be like, can I bring my kids back for some picture? Or would I be like, get the hell out of here? You know what I mean?
No, they would. They'd show y'all love.
Yeah,
they
that's
for
what
sure show
I
y'all
hope,
love.
you know. But anyway, yeah, I think anything's possible. You know what I mean?
Now, this is a little off the beaten path of wrestling, but I've always wanted to ask you about something because back in the day, you're talking about going to the CD stores, right? Going to the record stores. There was Sound Warehouse. I don't know if you remember Sound Warehouse book over there in Baybrook. But I remember thumbing through, and I saw this.
I remember Sounds Warehouse.
Okay, well, I didn't know. You don't got to get hot about it. Don't get hot about it. I'm just asking you a question. I didn't know if you knew. I don't know if you knew. You could probably got stuff shipped to the house. I don't know.
I never bought a CD before. Okay.
Yeah, people give you stuff, Book. You don't have to buy nothing. But I remember looking through, and again, this is like height of probably, ICP, that whole era. But there was a record called Take a Bite Out of Rhyme. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there was a thing called Take a Bite Out of Rhyme, and it was a bunch of like rock bands doing rock versions of rap records.
That's
classic
right, I forgot about that.
And you did Posse on Broadway.
Yes.
ICP did Posse on Broadway, which is the Sir Mix-a-Lot record that you flipped, and you put kind of your spin on it.
Yeah.
What do you remember about making that record, and were you like intimidated having to remake a classic like that?
First of all, yeah, but remaking records is the shit because younger fans don't even know you're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
They're like, man, this is a great song.
We've remade an endless amount of shit. You know what I mean? If we don't remake it, we straight jack its rhythm, But that's what music is inspiration. Everybody's inspiring. If we remake somebody's stuff the way that was remade, then yeah, that's obviously homage, But that's still one of our most popular songs.
Posse on Broadway?
Yeah.
Oh, word.
We call it Posse on Werner.
Yeah, okay,
which is in Detroit. And that's one of our, I'd say it's one of our top 20. People love it,
Wow.
And we did Assassins by the Ghetto Boys too.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? We did our own Assassins, which that means that's the third version of Assassins, to admit. One time, we sampled a song called Another Love Song, and we paid back for the sample. Turned out Beck stole the shit from Merle Haggard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why the fuck we paying back? You know what I'm saying?
What do you pay Merle?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's stealing from everybody out here. You know what I mean? So
you touched over there, Willie D and whatnot. You've been hanging out in the H. You plan on doing anything in the city or anytime soon?
Man, in Houston, we always come to Houston.
That's what I'm saying. Houston is the spot, man. When you gonna do something in Houston, perhaps with Reality of Wrestling, we got a spot set up right here. We got a facility. We doing like big shows every month. We always looking for big name talent.
The day you text my number and say, Joe, come pull up. On this day, I'm here.
Okay, that's all I was looking for.
You know it.
I was just trying to put it out there. Put the fillers out there right
That'd
there.
be fun as hell. I'd be honored,
You got
man.
it, bro. We definitely would love for that to happen. We got some big shows coming up. Summer of Champions. We got our big 4 of the year here at Reality of Wrestling. And we definitely trying to take this thing to another level and create something. For me, my love for the game has been able to expand from wrestling to now being able to train, teach, drop that knowledge on these young guys. We got so many guys, trying to make that trek to the next level. And me personally, I'm loving what I'm doing, and to have someone like you come into Reality Wrestling and bless, the Road Nation with, with a little bit of violentness.
Hell yeah, man. I'd be honored.
On the one, man.
I'd be honored, real talk. I'd be honored, man. I do this because I love this.
Sure.
Anything I do with wrestling is because I love it. That's the only reason. You know what I mean? I'm there by choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I love it.
Yeah.
It's always been in my blood. It brings, believe it or not, pro wrestling, especially looking at stuff from the 90s and all that, brings down my anxiety.
Oh, man.
Strange, it's something
like
I'm
a
so
safe
comfortable
place.
with.
Yeah.
I grew up with all my life that, like, if I've had a crazy day, I come on, put YouTube on, and they'll be reviewing some old Nitro or something, and I'll just be like, yeah, just bring my anxiety down,
And then you're like, wait a minute, I was on this episode.
Great memories, man. Great memories. I always say that when I go do, conventions, and every time, man, I might stand up for 5 hours, and, and I listen to stories for 5 hours, and I tell you, it's never one bad story. Never one bad story from, the multitude of fans that I go through in that day, and it's amazing just to sit and listen to their stories and once say, man, why are you out? You don't have to be doing this. I get something out of it, man. I really do get something out of being able to touch the fans and being up close and personal with them. So I get it, man, totally. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Him acting like he's never gonna wrestle again. When I walked in and hugged him, it was like hugging one of them stone columns out there. I thought I was hugging like a stone column or something.
Hey, man, never say never. Never say never. Especially as a wrestler,
definitely never to say never. One of the other things is hip hop celebrated 50th year anniversary last year, 2023, and the New York Times did a big profile on a bunch of different rappers and a bunch of different groups. They reached out to ICP.
I know,
y'all did something with that because you can't tell the story of hip hop now without talking about the Insane Clown Posse.
How nutty is that?
That's why I wanted to ask you. Like, how did that feel when they're like, "Hey, New York Times, we want to talk to you about your place in hip hop history"?
I'll tell you how it feels. I'm so used to. I mean, we made USA Today's worst album of the year 3 years in a row in the past.
You know what? I got something in common with you, dude.
Yeah. we
worst
made,
commentator.
Oh, yeah, he's worst announcer every year. He gets it every year.
That's how you know you're doing something right. No, but we get this so much our whole career. It just feels like the writers, the producers, the program directors, those people are no longer there, and it's new people here now. It's a new younger crowd that ain't on that kind of hate. You know what I'm saying? And they're more open-minded to things. It's like you said, we might have been a little ahead of our time or something, but we don't get that kind of hate no more, And to be included in that, Drake tweeted a photo not too long ago wearing a Ringmaster jersey, one of our jerseys, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, who would have ever thunk that in a million years? You know, we're so used to every time there was ever anything written about us or anything at all, it's constantly slamming the shit out of us. After all these years, every time we do an interview now, one of the first questions is, do you still feel like the most hated band, Because they know things have changed, Plus nostalgia, you know what I mean? Like 90s hip-hop is kind of the thing again, especially in Europe, So who knows, man? I'm just very grateful to be sitting here. I didn't know. If I'd have known my life would be like this at 51, I wouldn't have worried about getting old. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's dope.
Man.
Yeah, man, for real. Because I know I'm still the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I thought I'd be dorky as hell, like my old neighbor Tom, just standing there cracking lame jokes while in the grass, and that'd be the highlight of my day. I didn't know I'd still be able to be me. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, and again, like you said, like y'all are part of the legacy of hip hop. I mean, and y'all have gotten to collaborate with great groups. You talk about here in the South, 3-6 Mafia. In Tennessee, DJ Paul's always shown y'all a lot of love. Y'all did a couple records with 3-6, right?
Oh man, we've done I did a whole album with
Paul,
with Paul and the other members of 3-6 at the time, and we did a bunch of stuff. I got to do a song with Ice Cube. I got to do a song with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The
ODB.
Ghetto Boys, Old Dirty Bastard. You know? Man, I mean, that's why if something happened to me, the only regret I have would be leaving my kids on the planet. I feel so grateful for everything that's happened in my life that I had no complaints. I'd be hug God first thing if I saw him, because how could I complain? You know what I mean? I've been blessed. But I don't want to leave. I don't want to die yet. I want to live to see my kids get longer and keep nailing my
Still
girlfriend.
got a lot more work to go. I feel you. I always say, I just ask God to let me finish my work, and I'll be ready to come home. But now, man, you guys have taken that trek somewhat like Muhammad Ali. Most hated. Wanted to see him get beat all the time, and then finally, turned that curve and became the most beloved person, perhaps of all times. You guys have pretty much done that, man. You've done a hell of a job.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the back, man. You got to give. No, I'm serious, man. You got to give yourself.
Bill
You got to give yourself that
Barrio,
credit,
brother.
man. You got to give yourself that credit, man. When's the next gathering? When can we expect the next?
It's coming up. Tickets are on sale right now. It's coming up in August. It's gonna be the shit. I don't remember the date. What date?
It's in the summertime is what I'm seeing.
Summertime.
13th through the 17th.
13th to the 17th of August.
All right.
Yes, right. And the place is called
The Legend Valley?
Legend Valley.
There we
That's
go.
right, Legend Valley.
You damn right. Legend Valley. What was the
Gathering.
date? What was the date? August what?
13th to the 17th.
13th through
Yeah.
17th. Don't miss out. I'm going to do it like Mean Gene. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out or your ass will get left out. Make sure you get your ticket. Do it. Do it now. I do it for you. Nah, man. I want to thank you, man. Just want to thank you, man, for coming in and spending some time with us. You know, it's always
Thank you, brother.
It's always love, man, and stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams.
Oh, and I just might be back.
Oh, whoa. I was just finna say that. Don't tip my hat too soon. It's gonna be some violentness going on here inside the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena in the near future, guys. So, guys, stay tuned. Go to realityofwrestling.com to make sure you don't miss out. But again, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We love you. We out.
Appreciate you, brother.
Stick around.